Okay, okay. Things are going alright, setting it up at least. I kept trying to start earlier, but my cat wouldn't stop biting my hand. She decided to chill right next to my fucking mouse. She's just being goofy, making it impossible for things to do. So, let's figure out this. Okay, okay, okay. Hold on, let me send out some links. Oh my god, she won't let me, she keeps biting me. Ow! I'm trying to set up my stream. I can't even send out links. Let me stop it. She's picking on me. Listen, she gets mad when I don't give her attention and I give it to anybody else. But how's it going with you guys already? We got some people in there. What's up, Joshua Light? What's up, Klaus Bryan and JK Network? Hold on. Let me send out some links really quick. Oh my god, she's now approaching my mic. How's my new mic sound, by the way? I went and got a new mic. I believe it was Monday. And I haven't really, I've been wondering what it sounds like compared to my old one, figure out whether or not it was worth it, or I just wasted money on it, and then on a fortunate side of things. But, I mean, it sounds good. I've done some sound recordings and tested it and compared it to my other one, and it sounds better, at least to me. But some people have told me they didn't like it as much. I think it sounds pretty good. What do you guys think? That's good, that's good. I have to worry about the echo. Apparently there's some mad echo in the background, so I'm gonna try and figure out how to go through that. I don't know. Other than that, how's it going? What's up, Mercenary? How things going? Just signing out some links. Hopefully I can get some retweets on Twitter, get more people here to come check out what's going on, come hang out, and really just discuss everything. I just got finished reading all of the new Weekly Shonen Jump chapters. They were all really good, actually. I had a lot of fun reading through them. Jujutsu Kaisen is just skyrocketing up on my list. I've been having a lot of fun reading that lately. If you haven't, been checking that out. And Chainsaw Man's getting into some shenanigans as well. I got to do some of my a couple more review videos after this, and get them ready for the week. That one I'm gonna have fun talking about it, just because it was such a strange chapter. Everything about Chainsaw Man is just super weird. That's good. I'm glad that my mic sounds alright. But somebody's just like to stream. Fiends. Other than that, yeah, just getting into it. If you know anybody that might want to come hang out and chat, I appreciate if you guys would send them a link. Maybe see if they like my content, and if you would like to thumbs up the video if you're enjoying everything that's going on. But on that, let's just kind of like go over everything right now, because like I said, everything was really good this week. I had a lot of fun reading them. Obviously, there's only a few things left, but they're more towards early next week. Like, we're gonna Eden Zero on Seven Deadly Sins. It looks like it's about over. Fairy Tail on Tuesday. Looking forward to that. Definitely looking forward to that. Gambler's Parade, whenever the hell it comes out, they're already starting a new, pretty interesting little mini arc. The odd reactions and everything is just super weird, but it adds such an extra level of flavor to it. So Nozel, Fuego, and Wizard. It's definitely going to be between Fuego Leon and Nozel, because, well, who's stronger than them? Definitely Fuego Leon, since he's got Salamander now. But I think that Fuego Leon should be Wizard King, but I feel like it's going to be Nozel. Because I know Tabata seems to really like Nozel after reading some of the stuff from that interview he did not too long ago. It just feels like he's going for that instead. I mean, Nozel, I think not a lot of people have really caught on of why he was mean. Like, he was a dick to Noel, but it wasn't like he wasn't just a bully. And it seemed more like he didn't like anybody that he didn't think was useful to the Magic Knights and to the kingdom, because he was like that to Asta. And then when he saw Asta just be handy and able to fight and able to contend and stick up for the country and the kingdom, he seemed alright with them at that point. And after he started to see Noelle actually gain control over her magic and able to perform, he seemed to really pick up back against that. And I think it's more towards this this idea he has, this complex of value in work, and just kind of adding, being essential to the Magic Knights, and being able to provide them the level of effort and skill required to be in them. He probably didn't like that, if she's not capable of doing anything, then really, what was the point of her being there? She's just, making it harder for everyone else. Did I read the last Saiki chapter? Yeah, I liked it. I'm wondering with that right now. One of my main thoughts right now towards that is if the main character is going to alter his staff as the series goes on. Because I noticed the bad guy, the kid who was in chapter, I think he's in chapter 3, where he killed all those people in his class. That I'm wondering, because his staff was slightly different, and I'm wondering if that's what Ryunosuke is gonna do. If, you know, maybe he could cut off pieces of, what is it called, Nyoibon or something, and like tie them together so it's like a bat or a kanabo. Because obviously he's got a staff because he spent so many years with a baseball bat, and now it's kind of like a little bit into his style. You know, the swinging. Obviously, a bat is not the same. It's more of a club versus a staff. You can kind of see like the remnants between those two different types of weapon use, but I'm wondering if he's going to alter it for the long run. Maybe that'll be a big point for him later on, is figuring out how he kind of, you know, make it better for his style. And that'd be pretty cool. Like, if you imagine he had, you know, he had the main staff, but he had multiple others wrapped around it, and he could pick which, you know, pick which ones grow, get all of them grow at once, maybe use it as like a shield or grab people. There's a lot of things he could do with that going, you know, different styles of the staff itself, which I'm pretty interested in. I like the fact that, you know, you could just give that staff to people. You just cut off a piece and it'll just keep growing. I think that's pretty interesting, and it adds a nice component further along the line of, you know, whenever he's gonna start adding people to his team. Because I imagine at some point he's gonna not want to just do it alone. His dad will probably, something will probably happen to his dad, is maybe he's not there the whole time, and, you know, maybe he'll get this other kid, Shiki or whatever, to join in with him, which would be pretty cool. I can't wait for Black Clover 2. Yeah, I assume it's gonna have a nice color spread. Definitely gonna have a nice color on it. Definitely nice, pretty good picture. I imagine it's gonna be maybe like, because 200. What would a good thing for 200 to really kind of stand out for? Maybe maybe just kind of like a picture of the Black Bulls, or maybe a hint towards what's happening in the future. I think that'd be pretty cool. Maybe like he puts like a big layout of what's going on this arc, but maybe like hides stuff that's coming up within the 200 cover. I don't know, but I'm definitely looking forward to that. That's gonna be pretty fun. I actually just saw the new cover, volume 20 or 21, with, and I had like Charmy way off in the back, and it was more towards I can't remember the elf that possessed was it Mary? Yeah, Mary, Gotcha's sister. Was that her name? God, he's the only Black Bull that I don't dislike him, but I'm not too invested in his character, so a lot of his stuff I don't keep as much hold on to something like how much everyone loves Charmy. Keep on, like, I did like Charmy like way off in the back though, and you had like Dorothy, Elf Dorothy, like off in the corner. It was a good looking cover. I definitely liked the one before more, because it, you know, that had that nice Noel picture, and it was such a good time and moment for her to really, you know, present herself towards her siblings. Mob Psycho is amazing. Yeah, I gotta get to Mob Psycho. I meant to get it last time, you know, at the end of season 1, but I just spaced. Because usually, I'm much more of a manga guy, and then usually with anime, I wait until the season's over, and then I binge it, unless it's like a big weekly, and then if I'm interested in one of the series, then I'll get into it and, you know, try and keep up with it. Or since it's about to end. Yeah, they beat the Demon King. It was pretty lame in Seven Deadly Sins. I was kind of disappointed with it. I don't know why. I don't know why Nakaba had to do that. I don't know why he had to bring the guy in. He didn't need to really be the big bad guy just because he's a big bad guy stature. Like I talked about, if you watched any of my videos when I was still reviewing Seven Deadly Sins, I was actually really happy with all the stuff around Mil Starosa, and I thought he was a perfect final villain for this series. And then they kind of just undid everything that they built for him and brought in the Demon King, who had like nothing really built around him, and he just wasn't interesting, and he doesn't even have a cool power. He wasn't fun. And then you had like Mil Starosa, who turned each of the commandments into a weird weapon. Like one of them was like this incense, and it like, I think that one, I can't remember. I think that one made illusions if you smelled the incense coming out. And then you had the scythe that like temporarily blocked your powers, and you had the jewel that just made like huge explosions. I don't remember what the bell did, but I thought that was cool. I liked that. I thought that was pretty fun. I like his design. I really liked everything going on towards that. Yeah, Ekra. I remember Droit, but I couldn't remember his sister name. I always remember Droit because of the. It's really close to that demon from the Sun Diligent fairy tale Doriat. You remember the guy who had the law of retrogression, or whatever its official name is. I always remembered it from the fan translation, and we're gonna stick in there until probably the next time I read through that arc. It might like it's pretty good. What if Nozel is king and Fuegoleon is wizard king? Well, I don't know about that because Augustus is still alive. I mean, he hasn't died yet, and I don't think there's a lot of impact if he does die. I think it'd be better if after this arc he kind of is put in his place and maybe he becomes the cooler character, becomes a better king. Does anyone know how old he is? Has his official age been put out? Because he has light magic, he has potential. Like, imagine if, like, a small time skip and he, like, loses a bunch of weight and becomes really cool. And he just becomes a badass. I think it'd be fun. Also, really quick, really appreciate it. Again, if you would share the stream link, maybe retweet the Twitter posts that I made about it, and thumbs up the video, like the stream if you're enjoying this. Try and keep it weekly. I like to talk to you guys, and I definitely like to keep it in this stream format because it's quicker to really have you guys' messages all laid out versus like if we were like in a Discord call or something, because this way everyone can have their words put out there and I can just read it as the stream progresses and doesn't get lost or anything. Do I have a prediction planned for chapter 200? Yeah, I'm gonna do a prediction probably on Tuesday or Wednesday, because I want to do my predictions shortly before the chapter comes out. That way, you know, it'll be kind of like those last minute thoughts instead of like what I think of 5 seconds after the chapter comes out. That way I have enough time to think over everything. Asta versus Yami would be cool. Yeah, I want to get into a time skip and then just like have like a cool training bit and maybe Asta trains with Yami or Nozel. A lot of those guys have Asta train, but no, don't let him use his swords. Just use like normal swords and actually like get better in swordsmanship in general. Just maybe learn some, you know, proper footwork and stuff. Because Asta, obviously he's talented the way he uses his swords. He knows how to use his style, but he doesn't have. He's got that berserker style, and it's still pretty fun. I think it'd be more important if he practiced some more of the fundamentals and just maybe not to like upgrade his style, but to understand other characters. You know, maybe like countering. There's a fair amount of characters that use elemental weapons, or at least use elements to buff themselves, and I think that would probably help them a lot. And just I think it's time for a fun training arc. Maybe not like a long one, but a nice little bit, couple chapters. But it's more about just like combat in general instead of them like learning some lesson about like, you know, when he learned about how to use the black form, which is still fun. But I definitely want to keep things pretty quick flowing. You're evil, Natsu. As Aetherius, I did my prediction for the next chapter. Was that today? Yeah, I put it up today. I'm definitely looking forward to this next chapter, and there's a lot writing on some of the theories I have on it to really cement what I think is going on forward. Because a lot of the things right now I have in theory and prediction are based around a couple of key points, and I think we're gonna see that in the next chapter. Like I talked about, if you haven't seen my discussion of that of what I think is gonna happen next chapter. What if Yami's reincarnated as an elf? Who do you see stopping him? It would have to be. I think it'd be better if that was the case. I'd want all the Black Bulls in general just to be fighting him and have some, you know, cool moment where he, you know, they overtake whatever elf is controlling him, you know, to get back their captain. I think that'd be pretty sick. Jack, which anime do you like more, Magi or My Hero Academia? I'd say My Hero overall. I liked Magi a lot. After that war arc, and then it got into that flashback, though, I stopped kind of liking it. The flashback arc was too long, and then it got like weirdly futuristic. It was like the Jetsons and Sinbad became president. I didn't really like it at that point. I don't know. It felt like a whole different series, and it just wasn't
what I really liked about early Magi. I really like the cool deserts and dungeons, and you have all these cool GDs based off of like characters from the lore that it's all kind of centered on. I thought that was cool. What's up, Elric? How's it going? Asta versus Yami. Oh yeah, Yami would definitely win the fight. Asta is really strong only in his black form compared to a lot of them, but obviously he's got to charge it. Like in a normal fight, or it's just him 1v1 against, especially someone like Yami. Yami could just, while Asta's charging, one-shot him. Let's see. Who do you think it'll be for Jin shows up and gets a proper fight with Shiki? I'm hoping after this arc, because I really do want Jin to come back. Like I said, he's got my favorite design so far within Eden Zero. Or you find Acnologia being the final villain instead of Zeref? Not really. And it's not just because Acnologia had a really cool presence. It's just that we didn't get a lot of his backstory. We didn't get a lot about his character and what was going on that really kind of turned him over. But I still think that was because of stuff behind the scenes and not because Hiro Mishima just didn't want to put it in. Because he talked about it at con that he had the whole story planned, but he didn't end up putting in for reasons. And I definitely do think that, there was some stuff that we don't know about that went on that probably caused it. Because I still have my theory around it. Because obviously originally he just wanted to kill dragons because he didn't like them, that they just went around doing whatever. And I think that he had and he obviously has this, he had this idea of dragons in general being these raw destructive creatures that did whatever they want and caused misery. And then he became dubbed Dragon King. And I feel like the title went to his head, and in his mind, as he probably came to like the title, and then, what would he do as the Dragon King is he would become the king of how he saw dragons, and just like 400 years of slaughter, and it probably just kind of turned him crazy, and he wanted to fulfill that that vision of what he saw would be the king of dragons. We'll find out eventually, at least I'm hoping so, either in the anime or if Hiroshima wants to do like a Acnologia spinoff. I think that'd be cool. I really like Acnologia. I think design-wise he has probably one of the best designs in the entire series. He's got the most intimidating presence. It just that he kind of fell short at the end, but I think it was because the series was being rushed. I think there was behind-the-scenes stuff. Because, like, right now, Hiromishima's doing more because he's admitting the anime, the Happy spinoff, City Hero, and Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, all while doing stuff on Twitter. He's going to cons, and he's doing Eden Zero. And he's doing fine. Like, all of them have been pretty good. So I think it was something behind the scenes. I think it had to do maybe his editorial staff, because I could tell from some of his volume comments that him and his editor probably didn't get along. Maybe there was something between them that didn't go too fine. Because, yeah, 100 Years Quest has been great. I haven't had a bad chapter since they came out. Oh, no, the Shonen Jump, 100 Years Quest, Fairy Tail isn't Shonen Jump, it's Shonen Magazine, because it's owned by Kodansha and not, what's it, I think Shueisha and Viz is where Jump is. Kodansha needs to make a similar app, which I really hope they would hurry the fuck up and do it, because it's a good idea, and it really exposes a lot of their products to people who otherwise wouldn't pick it up or just would read it illegally. Because like I don't really like outside of like Black Clover, My Hero, and I guess still One Piece. I really wait for a lot of their series until they come out on the official app. And the only reason I read those three is because, like, right after I read One Piece, Black Clover's out, and Black Clover I really just want to get to reading. And then by the time usually I'm finished with Black Clover, My Hero Academia is out. Like, if they stopped doing all the fan translations and we'd get them in this nicer HD versions, and I wouldn't mind. Did I see the spoilers for the Eden Zero chapter? Yeah, I'm wondering how many weird hacker sets that we're gonna see Shiki in. Because he was the monster, and then he was like in a night suit, just kind of jumping around and stuff. That'll be pretty fun. I wonder if any of them are going to be a nice reference. Because the monster Shiki looked kind of like Aki's Deal Wolf form from Monster Soul, which is the short series that Hiroshima did before Fairy Tail. How do you think the dragons on Eden Zero will be? I'm hoping they're I'm hoping they're more like the one that we saw early in the series, where they're more mechanical and maybe somebody's been creating them and just kind of like letting them loose. Because we don't know how powerful they are. We obviously they have to be stronger than a ship, but Eden Zero is a special ship, and we'll see how special it is after we get the four shining stars back. We're about to get Hermit back, and then I'm wondering if they're going to get Valkyrie or have Pino pretty much step up and become the fourth one. I feel like that might happen because we already had the foreshadowing that Pino could easily become a shining star eventually. If Natsu gets killed by the Water Dragon, no way.
Well, I think the next chapter, Mercphobia is going to have to get serious. I think Natsu's form is going to... I'm sorry with my mic, you probably hear my chair squeaking a lot more because it's a lot better. It's a lot better of a mic, so it's got to pick up that horrible chair sound. More Gordon can do with magic. I hope I didn't miss any comments. Hang on, let me scroll up and make sure. I try not to miss anything you guys are posting. Okay. Deku versus Boruto. I feel like Boruto would win. He seems a lot stronger. And then he's got a lot more techniques than Bakugo. Bakugo just seems more mobile. Yeah, Gordon's magic is pretty cool. His, cool curse hex magic. It's pretty neat. Hellborn Haguma was a good chapter. I liked it. I'm wondering... It was, all flashback stuff. It was... I won't say anything in specific, but it was all flashbacks. Because I'm curious to know right now with that series, because, it's been ranking pretty low, but we don't know how, because usually it was around, where it's at right now, somewhere between, 12 and 16, that Shonen Jump would cancel them if they were pretty low ranked. But now it doesn't, the ranking doesn't really matter, the ranking doesn't really matter in their digital, because obviously in the physical, it's well, we don't want to waste this, the spot that it's in the magazine, because they only have so much room in the magazine. But now that doesn't matter in digital. It's probably just going to be how much they sell on the, on physical volumes. Which I'm hoping it does pretty good, because it's been really interesting the last few chapters. And Haguma just is going to be getting fucked up, getting chopped all over the place. Jesus. You think 100 Years Quest will ever be put on the show? Oh, no, I read that. Final fight. Wait. Which final villain is worse between Kaguya and... Acnologia's was better. Because the thing about Kaguya is Kaguya just kind of, teleported them around in, some not very threatening things. And then they ended up sealing her. The thing about Acnologia, I don't think a lot of people remember, is they beat him, but they beat him in a way that in zero way, broke his hype, because they had to combine all the magic of everyone on the continent in a unison raid in the strongest defensive spell within the series while holding him in place. So motion sickness, weakened Acnologia immensely, because we know motion sickness pretty much causes them to not be able to really do anything. It makes it really hard for them to conjure up any of their magic. While Natsu had a 7-fold dragon force that was so powerful it was making Ignil's scales react from the scarf. And he almost was able to block, but because Ignil took his arm a year prior, and obviously when you're centuries old, you've only lost your arm for 1 year without any major fights. You're not going to be used to fighting now with one arm. And Acnologia, the fight was too quick. I'm really, really, really hoping the anime extends it out and makes it better. But they at least didn't make it so they didn't make it so like someone like Yacht, from Bleach, where they just hey, we brought in, we have this special thing that will, out of nowhere, that will cancel out his powers. It was okay, we're going to use all these things already established to build it up. I mean, it should have been longer. The fight definitely should have been longer, and it wasn't as, glorious as it should have been. They were fighting, a big dude. And it was really just, them getting beat up for a while, and then Acnologia got weakened to hell and, held in place and got screwed over. So at least there was that. So, because, his was, it was still logical, and it didn't de-hype him. It didn't break his placement in the series. Clearly, because now we have the Dragon Gods, who, even all of Team Natsu combined, aren't even really standing up to half Mercphobia. Mercphobia? Mercphobia? Whatever. there's been talk of Black Clover time skip. Thinking, well, yeah, because I think this is all part one of Black Clover. I feel like everything now, we're getting a lot of tie-ins from things established early on in the series, and I think the best solution will be, you know, time skip and then start introducing more things while still advancing off of everything that happened beforehand and really kind of continue down the line. Yeah, I thought it was being rushed a bit too. I just finished ordering my first 2 volumes of Black Clover, my first manga volumes ever in my life. I'm so proud. Yeah, good, Crom. Fucking Black Clover's been really good. I remember I was talking to someone recently, and they're trying to like tell me how much of a contrarian I am for liking Black Clover over My Hero Academia, which is bullshit. I've been following both since like they came out. Black Clover, I think, was at like chapter 10 when I picked it up. I've been following My Hero Academia since chapter 1 came out, and I was reading Horikoshi's story Barrage like years prior, and I was reading Tabata's story Hungry Joker years prior. I just like Black Clover more. It's just my opinion. But the only anime that I hate Joshua Light is Sword Art Online, because the first 2 episodes were good, and then it just became so boring, and then it just kept going to a different video game where Kirito instantly became super OP and super boring. I can't stand Sword Art Online. I like the spin-off Gun Gale Online where it had none of the characters, but it just took place in one of the games from one of the seasons. That girl Len, I thought it was fun. That's one of the only ones I've kept up with recently. Yeah, I just don't like Sword Art Online. I mean, maybe some people have said the current season's better. I don't care. I don't like Sword Art Online. I don't like Kirito as a character at all. Urza versus Kiryu round 2, yeah. Because the thing is, so there's a couple things about Dragon Eaters, the 5th generation Dragon Slayers, that I'm very curious about, because each of the Dragon Slayer generations has a method to them. Oh, hang on 1 second. Somebody's just messaged me. Just let me reply. You obviously have the 1st generation who it's taught to them, and it's really taught them by a dragon, but I think taught in general is, you know, you're getting it through how people seem to normally learn magic, it'd be through a book or through another person. 2nd gen is through a artificial lacrima, so you know, if you have earth magic and then you get a dragon lacrima in your body, you're going to become an earth dragon slayer. 3rd generation is obviously 1 and 2 combined. 4th gen was brought up in the Dragon Cry movie in those constructs, and really how I see 4th gen is in an artificial object. So like Urza, you know, putting Dragon Slayer magic into her sword, she herself isn't a Dragon Slayer, but while holding a Dragon Slayer sword, she technically is. And that's kind of how I see 4th gen. Like if you summoned those the Quartum Knights, like if you just summon them like how Wall summons his robots or Lucy summons her spirits, and that was your magic, you'd be like that's how I see 4th generation. You'd be a 4th generation Dragon Slayer that way. And then 5th gen obviously is through eating dragon like body parts. And now how I kind of see how that one works is you're eating them and then integrating them into your body, and maybe it's like a faster kind of way of how dragonification works. And that's how they're just kind of strong in general, but maybe they can't use Dragon Force. And because it's already integrated into their DNA, I don't know. It's just how I'm kind of seeing it right now. Like, maybe they're so strong because they're kind of in a pseudo-Dragon Force at all times, and their power-up will just be maybe a Dragon Form. Who knows? Maybe it will just be... Maybe they still have Dragon Force. I don't really know. It's just kind of a theory of what I'm kind of going at right now. I gotta scroll up so I don't miss comments. Let's see. Oh god. Okay, yeah. Who do you think treated their sibling worse, Nozel or Langris? Well, Langris was just a douche to Finral, and I'd say Nozel. I mean, Nozel. There's obviously worse siblings. I mean, Nozel was an asshole, but it wasn't like he was evil. Legitimately, I think Nibra and Solid treated Noel worse than Nozel did, because Nozel was like an asshole. The other two were, I think, from what I remember, much more abusive, both physically and emotionally. Was Drac and Joe the reason why the government organization didn't go to the planet until after Chronophage attacked it? I just think that Gilst just seemed like a shitty place to go in general. Like, it just seemed like a complete hive of criminal activity, and like I feel like you couldn't just, for the government, for them to go there, they couldn't just go there. I feel like if they went there, they'd get attacked. They'd pretty much have to go there, like, with the intent to just raid and kill or arrest any of the criminals they could. But obviously, Draken Joe, being as powerful as he is, probably was... I think he was a factor, and why it would pretty much have to be a war if they ended up going there. I am very curious how powerful he is. Hope to see Kanao versus Dalma. Oh, Kometsu no... Are you talking about Kometsu no Yaiba? Kanao, yeah, and Doma, the second upper moon. Asa's going to need more power eventually. Oh, yeah, I'm wondering how that's going to go, because obviously what we saw recently in 197 is his form advanced a little bit. Like, he got an extra horn, the horn he had already grew a little bit. He got, like, anti-magic on his cloak, and he's got, he's got a second fang. You got a nice progression, so you just got to keep evolving that form while also mastering the swords. And I'm still kind of curious of my theory for that. And, if you check out, I did a theory on how Asta can master the anti-magic swords. Because the way that I kind of see the form is he's, like, absorbing the anti-magic energy into his body. And could he absorb all of it from the sword to a point where he can make them kind of, like, white, like how Licht had them? Because when he had them and all the ashy anti-magic layer kind of crumbled off, they seem more powerful, and they seem just, like, all around, like, a better power. And I'm wondering if he's able to kind of eventually use them in that manner. I think it'd be sick. Could you imagine, like, Asta in that black form where he has, like, this demonic, like, layer to him, but his swords are, like, these pure white, holy-looking blades? I think that'd be so sick just to see those kind of go about. You like the Rising the Shield Heroes? Yeah, I'm gonna watch the anime when it ends, because I like I talked about, I usually wait till animes end before I watch them, because I like to binge them. I read the manga, and I think the manga, or the anime is at where the manga was when I stopped reading at the time. So, probably get back to that, and then get back to reading the manga as well. Yeah, Hungry Joker was awesome. I really like Hungry Joker. Where was it? If Noelle will become bolder towards Asta after the time skip, like how Juvia's great. I don't know if she's gonna become that bold. Like, Juvia's hungry as fuck. Like, if Gray said, like, in the middle of the guild hall that they'd fuck, she'd probably be on board with it. I mean, Noelle, like, holding hands with Asta would be a big step for her. I don't think she's gonna get Juvia tier just about yet. Have you noticed that Tabata gives a lot of his Hungry Joker material to characters like Noelle? And Noelle. Well, the thing is, if you look back, I don't remember the guy's name, but Charlotte was pretty much the same. As there's a character, he had a hammer that let him manipulate sound, and he was kind of similar to Charlotte, where he talked very calmly, but in his head he was always freaking out about stuff. There's a lot he carried over, because there was a lot of really fun character designs that I think would otherwise get wasted. Just happy Noelle wrecked Solid. Yeah, that was pretty intense. Solid's got to get his shit. I missed some comments. What comments did I miss? I hope I didn't miss any. Yeah, which anime did I hate? Yeah, I answered that. Reason why the government. Yeah, I think I answered all of them. Let's just get back to it. Tell me what I missed if you see it. Serves Solid right. Yeah, Solid's gotta learn his shit. But the nobleman though in Black Clover, I think it's going to be pretty cool later on if, they kind of get humbled and they start acting a lot nicer and start getting better. So I think a lot of the arrogance of the nobles is why you have all these talent from commoners and peasants starting to rise up and really match up with them. They're too cocky. They're too headstrong about, just I'm going to be great because I'm a noble. And obviously they have the talent, but they don't have the hard work. And you have all these characters who are clever and hardworking, getting the jump on them. I mean, look at someone like Zora. Zora's a normal guy, just a commoner, and he's better than most of the noblemen. I think he could probably take any character that isn't a captain right now out of the Magic Knight orders. It's also that boy. He's going to be voiced by frickin' Johnny Young Bosch. I'm pretty excited. I think Hulu is about to add the dub to them, and I like to watch some of the dubs. Even if I don't watch all the dub, I like to watch dubs just to kind of get the voices of the characters cemented into my head, because that way I can read it. Because I think it's fun
I think it's a lot funner when you have a voice for the character, of a set voice that you can read it as. Just adds an extra layer of enjoyment to it. And I do like reading manga a lot more than watching the animes. I mean, other than like outside of like if a fight scene gets really well animated, but more often than not, the manga looks better. Not everyone gets that thick ass budget with all this like sick animators. Do you see Junlov escaping and running back to Draken Joe and Draken Joe giving him power up? I think that'd be cool. So what I kind of want to see is Jamilov leaves and he tries to beg him for a power up, something to help him, and maybe Draken Joe like mutates him or something. Maybe like enhances him through like an elixir he made that makes him like part of some other alien's DNA or some monster. And next time Shiki in a fight, he'll be more of like kind of like how Doriart was, because he was just a human and then he got made a demon through Tartarus. Aslet close to having the full double form. I don't know, full. I mean, he just had an extra horn, and he had a couple of elongated aspects. I don't think it's even expanded close to his leg yet. He's gonna need some like sick leg portions too. But I want to see before he gets like a higher level beyond this, because obviously this was like a limit break moment. I want to see more towards him being able to hold the form long enough, because he can hold it for a decent amount of time, but seemingly after he uses a technique, it fades off. And we obviously had a nice big step forward with him here, but now he's drained himself of his form, and I'm wondering how he's going to move on for the rest of the arc unless somebody heals him. I mean, they have Mimosa not too far away, but he can only last so long. I mean, he needs stamina on top of just like healing himself. Almost, yeah. His hair was definitely. It was looking pretty sick. I like Asta's form. It is cool to see him crossover. I want to see Fire God Natsu versus Naruto. Well, Naruto though is at his. Well, he was at his peak. I think Naruto has gotten weaker over the years. Because he's been a desk guy, which I still think that was a terrible idea for the idea in the Leaf, because it should have been like. I prefer how Black Clover takes the Wizard King than Naruto does the Hokage, because Naruto should be pretty much, because I like the whole layout of there's a Hokage that goes out doing like super top tier missions like Sasuke's doing, and then one stays behind. Naruto's job should be like the ultimate defense of the Leaf Village. Like, he shouldn't be doing desk work. He should be always keeping himself in top shape in case anything attacks, and then Shikamaru can do all the paperwork and all the smart like political stuff. I mean, like, for real, I think that's how Naruto should have been doing, or at least having clones. Like, he could have had clones out doing training, because we know that he retains stuff when his clones disappear when they do stuff. I mean, I feel like it just would have a better layout. That's what I don't really like about the Hokage spot, and I think screwed Naruto over in the long run. Poor guy. Natsu is less annoying than Asta, in my opinion. I like Asta. He's a good boy. Natsu's my number one shonen main character, though. But I do really like Asta. He's a good kid. Who is a better friend? Wait, who is a better friend? Natsu or Asta? Who would if I had a chance to befriend them, knowing who they are, I'd pick Asta. Because the thing about Natsu is Natsu, even if you don't piss him off, he's just a little rowdy. He's gonna try and fight you. And like, unless I'm as strong as him, he's gonna beat the shit out of me. Asta, though, just seems like, you'd hang out with him and, you'd chill. And he's very humble, he's very respectful and very friendly. Even though I like Natsu more, like, if I had to hang out with him, if I hung out with Natsu, I'd be in danger. He might fuck me up. See, say Juvie fell for Natsu instead of Gray. How do you think Natsu would react to it? I mean, he probably would just be a little bit weirded out by it. We're gonna see and answer that question whenever him and Toka meet up, which is gonna be fun. Let's see what else. Yeah, I already read that one. I wonder if Juice is gonna come back to life somehow. I mean, Raditz could do it. I kind of don't want him to. I would prefer it if Raditz finds his corpse, makes him into a zombie, and then leaves, and no one notices. Because I don't want Raditz to become a good guy. I don't think that he should forgive how much they screwed him over and treated him like shit. Because there's always the characters that have a tragic backstory, and I think Raditz's is actually really good.
and I don't want him to just kind of forgive everybody and move on. I want him to become an arc villain, and I want it to be like he's the main villain, and all the other boss characters that are under him are zombies of big characters. Could you imagine? Because he's got a big deal behind him with his necromancy. Because could you imagine a point where if he had all of the wizard kings in his possession, like, you know how powerful that dude could become? Like, the fact it doesn't seem like it's because it's not dependent. They keep their magic, and especially if he knows how Sally worked, if he could, or like how Sally made Caesar Clown. Wait, what was his name? It was Caesar something. I think it was Caesar Clown, but I don't remember the One Piece character's name. I know his also named Caesar, but he was pretty powerful, and he just had 2 powers, and he was a former captain. So imagine if he had Wizard King level characters as zombies.
It'd be pretty sick. I mean, he has so much of a threat level if he ends up staying as a bad guy, especially now. Like, I think would be more interesting, actually, now thinking about it, is if he pretended to be their ally, and so he just kind of like snuck through all these different areas in the Clover Kingdom, and ended up, or even other kingdoms, and just started to resurrect like big characters from their lore and their backstory, and really just building an army. Because the thing about him is he wasn't a bad guy. He just has he had a villain-like magic, necromancy had to do with zombies. But also his grimoire only has 1 page. He's only got 2 spells, and people treated him like shit. They assumed that he was going to become evil one day. He was obviously very self-conscious over the fact that his grimoire only has 1 page, and I don't think it would be okay for his character really to kind of forgive everybody. That I'll be legitimately not happy if he's just like, okay, I guess I'm gonna come join. I'm going to come hang out with the Black Bulls or the Purple Orcas or make my own Night Order. I would like him to become a big villain. I really hope that that's where his character goes further. Oh, yeah, love Johnny and Bosch. Yeah, Johnny and Bosch is awesome. One of the well, not of the original Power Rangers, but I think I think Adam had a lot more impact than Zach did. Obviously, because Zach left after season 1 because they had that big. They thought they get a little too big ahead of themselves, and they wanted more money, and then they're just like, all right, bye, we'll get somebody else, dummies. That's unfortunate. Obviously, the dude who played him, I don't remember his name, but he's still obviously raking in money because he's got OG Power Ranger attached to him. But at the time, dumb idea for him. I really love the manga Freito. What has got me more to read the manga now? I'm reading Claymore at the moment. I haven't read Claymore a long time, but one of my friends always, like, he'll randomly just post a picture of Isley, and I'm just like, God damn it, I should reread Claymore. That dude is so fucking cool. Maybe Drac and Joe will be a mix of Jamilov with his weapon, Mario. That'd be cool. That actually would be pretty interesting. Like, if he had that as an arm. Like, could you imagine if he had no arms, but he had, like, those big maws, and he just kind of looked like a Hydra, but with like these energy limbs? That'd be pretty sick. So there's a lot of cool stuff looking forward to, and it's hard to theorize with Eden Zero because it's so fresh, and there's so many things we don't know. Like, it's hard to theorize with a villain that we don't even know anything about, like Drac and Joe. And it's definitely gonna be fun later along the line just to see what exactly his thing is. Like Alchemist of Darkness, I would like him to be more of a guy with like a really intimidating set of crew rather than he himself be a fighter, unless he's like remember Byro from Edalus, where he just ended up drinking one of his potions, and that's pretty much what turned him into that big octopus. Because Hiroshima already likes to take character powers that weren't utilized as well as they probably should have been, and integrate them into bigger characters, like Crash Cookie's Darkbring, obviously transferring to Guild Arts. So that'd be pretty sick. I think that'd be pretty cool. Maybe that's where it is. Maybe I've called it, and that's what we'll see for Drac and Joe. Maybe I got it in this stream. Hey, what's up, Andres? How's it be? Let's see. Do you think Wise will get a companion like Shiki and Rebecca have? Yeah, her name is Samora. That's gonna be his. Asta would probably have to be possessed by the devil before a black bull Asta is formed, or full black Asta is formed. Yeah, I'm wondering if there's ever going to be something more like Hollow Ichigo or like Lost of Control, QB Naruto, or I guess now Ethereus Natsu as well. I think that'd be pretty cool. I keep saying it. I really want to know what the demons' names are. I'm waiting for them to have a name drop. It's gonna be even harder because the demon doesn't know what he said. He doesn't know what demon the one in Asta's grimoire is. I'm just like, God damn it. Now we're not gonna have they need to have a conversation. We need to have a part where the demon takes over Asta's grimoire, or through his grimoire, because I theorize that he does, like, he's separate from the other demons because he doesn't seem like a bad guy. And I talked about in my video discussing it that he seems very straightforward, which demons are very deceptive. At least in the way that Tabata's going about demons in like the older sense, they're tricksters. They're always lying and trying to, you know, trick you into doing something that in reality is very bad. But Asta's demon seems very straightforward. He doesn't seem like evil. And I think it'd be pretty cool if it was like he takes over Asta's body and he's like, yeah, I could have done it at any point I wanted to, but I like Asta. And until he accepts me, I'm just going to kick back and I'm just going to watch. I think that'd be pretty cool, and I think it'd be a really interesting like step for the anti-magic demon. So we'll figure that out. I really want to see a conversation between the two of them so bad. It'd be so much fun. I want to see maybe like get a count, because all it'll take for a ton of theories to come out of those demons is what their names are. Are they going to be original names, or are they going to be based off of some type of mythology? There's so many things that it could go for that I'm very interested in. Do you see Rebecca versus Amir in a gun battle? That'd be pretty cool, because right now Rebecca doesn't seem very powerful. She's obviously just a really good shot, and we know that like a little bit of foreshadowing of what her ether gear could be is just like auto tracking and like homing bullets. So that'd be pretty cool just to see a gunfight versus, you know, maybe like a big melee battle, and it's just like straight sharpshooters, you know, go on at it, switching between weapons, and you know, just auto lock. I think it'd be pretty sick. How strong do you think Kagura is from Fairy? How strong do you think Kagura from Fairy Tales? I think she's like mid Wizard Saint level. She's still pretty powerful, but she can't really do anything now. Like I don't think she's gonna be relevant unless they do a spin-off with her. I remember she still got to be pretty powerful in the Fairy Girl spin-off, because that was back like between Grand Magic Games and the Sun Village, so she was still pretty relevant in terms of strength. Because that she would have been relevant in Tartarus if she was there, but she like Albereth, and obviously now she can't do anything. Tapping the power, yeah. Raditz would be a really cool arc villain. Tapping in the power of the dead is pretty badass. Where's the last place you were in the Radiant manga? So I read ahead, but it was in the French version. But in the official translated one, I only read the first volume, but I own all 3 of the current ones out. I'm going to wait until I'm trying to remember where volume 3 ends, because I want to read through that whole first arc in that town, in that big battle with, I don't remember what the dude's name was. The dude with the big mustache, who's I think he's a commander or a captain. I want to read through that whole arc in one go, because of that. My plan is to read Radiant manga arcs in entire, like, one sitting, versus like reading one and then waiting forever to get another one, because it's going to be a little more awkward, because I think Radiant is bi-weekly like Fairy Tail is currently over in France, because it's not monthly and it's not weekly. So, I mean, like, obviously the only other option would be bi-weekly, and I don't have an app to really to look further into it of the French version, because until now it's only been French and Japanese. Say Agil and his squad only invaded the Clover Kingdom with a fleet of battleships and million soldiers. Do you think the Magic Knight stop him? Depends if they have Julius, because a lot of the captains are pretty strong, but the only one right now that as of current, the only one that I see being Spriggan level is Julius. I mean, it's soldiers. It would really just be Azir versus the Clover Kingdom, and his once he's a Sand World, he can kill a lot of them. and a lot of the characters don't have the ability to hurt him. It's like Yami with Dimension Slash and Jack, because he can turn intangible through Sand World, and all he has to do is grab him, and then he can drain all the water in their body. He's definitely a huge force for him. It depends if Julius, because obviously Julius I think would beat him just the way that his magic works. Well, could you age sand? I don't think so. Can you age sand? Because rock will eventually turn it. It'll just. I don't think so. I think sand will just remain sand unless it turns into dust. But then I feel like he could still control that. It'd just be let the tinier bits of sand. I'll look into that. So Draken Joe is a Space Kraken classic. Maybe. Let's see. Okay. Do you think Deku's trash? I don't dislike Deku. I just haven't liked him as of recent. I don't like the fact that they went he's pretty much the Avatar, because Deku already with just the strength version of One for All was already very powerful. And we already know that once he masters it, he's going to be top dog. But now he's got seven quirks, and it's just like, it's not, I don't think it's going to be fair for any other characters. I talked about this a little bit before. What I think would have been interesting, and what I think would be cooler, obviously it's not my series. I can't say Horikoshi should have done this. This is what I would have preferred. Obviously this is purely opinionated. But it would have been really cool if he couldn't advance All for One any further. Or One for All. Like, imagine he couldn't advance anymore, and it's because these fractions of all these other quirks, like Black Whip and all of them, were present in his body, and they were making it so he couldn't, like, they were constricting One for All, and he had to give those away, kind of like how All for One was taking other people's powers and giving them away. And then you could have had Deku give these other quirks to different characters and make them like other members of his team, and then give them to people, and then they could have them. And then you'd be able to also have the side characters catch up with Deku, because now they could have a second quirk. And Deku then could, have a kind of a similar thing that All for One is. The way that villains kind of looked at him, he's kind of like this villain Jesus, because he can take powers away from those who don't follow him. And then you could have some guy that doesn't have powers, and all you have to do is follow All for One, and bam, he could give you superpowers. He has this. I like that kind of mindset they have with All for One. That it would have been. I think it would have been cooler if Deku got to kind of become that, but for the heroes, which would have been pretty cool. The issue is right now, I think that Deku, I think he's gonna become too powerful. And it's not like in general. It's just he's gonna become that spot where all the other characters, it's gonna be like, why do they need him around? Deku can just go in and slaughter everyone. I don't know. Because, like, he's got, what's the two chicks? There's the chick with the weird eyes, and then there's the chick from the movie. Deku's now kind of gotten paired up with two characters that's, their whole thing is they make gear that enhances your quirks and makes them better. And yet instead of that, or him learning a martial art, Horikoshi made it so he gets 7 powers. It's just like, I just don't like the idea of that, because Deku originally was like, I'm going to be a hero without any powers, or I'm going to be a hero even if I don't need powers. And then he ended up getting the best power, and now the best power is even better than it was before. And it's just like, God damn it. All these other characters, they're getting screwed over. And I just don't really like the idea behind that. That's just my opinion. Sinbad versus Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Well, didn't Sinbad become a god at the end? I didn't read the last arc of Magi because I was just like, what is happening right now with this series? Why is Sinbad president? And then they're doing all this like philosophical stuff. It didn't feel like the same series, which bothered me a little. Because it's like, a series can advance, but it's kind of like with Tokyo Ghoul, Ri, or Ari, or Ray, or however it's pronounced. It felt so much different than just normal Tokyo Ghoul, that it was just like, the series isn't bad. I mean, I didn't like the ending, but it's like the series itself isn't bad, but I didn't like the change of tone and theme from Tokyo Ghoul, because it was like, Tokyo Ghoul was like a psychological battle horror, and then Tokyo Ghoul, I'm just gonna go with part 2, felt more like a psychological drama, and I just was like, it's not bad reading, but it just doesn't feel like the same series. You know. Let me see. Noelle is an honorary dragon slayer. No, not yet. Not yet. Well, she has a dragon attack. That's like saying Zatch Bell is a dragon slayer. You just have a dragon attack. Because dragon, it isn't like having a dragon-shaped attack. It's just like how Dragon Slayer works, where it makes your body composition like a dragon's. I wonder what you think about Deku. Okay, yeah, Deku is not trash in my opinion. It's Jared Punch. Yeah, you already read that, so you guys now know how I feel about Deku. What's up, Anime Vortex? How's it going? How strong do you think the other higher-up demons in Black Clover be? That's the problem that I'm talking about. Like, I don't know how many there are. I don't know what they're going to be based off of. I'm so curious about them. We need to get a description of, like... I just need to know at least, like, a silhouette of how many there are or how their naming scheme goes. And then I can make a proper guess. Because I have no idea right now. And this one is stronger than Patri and Raya. And he was just, like... And this isn't even, like, his actual power. This is, like, a temporary one until he gets, like, a physical body. Which is, like, goddamn, these guys are going to be fucking big. How are you doing, Mahime? I downloaded a bunch. I started rewatching it throughout the week, but I downloaded a bunch, and then like one of the episodes just didn't work, and I have to re-download them. But I was watching it, and what part was I? I was only like 2 or 3 episodes for the rewatch, but I had to get back to it. I'm still rewatching it slowly. This week I'm gonna try and get back for him. I want to get caught up with that, and then there was another series I really wanted to watch within the next week. I think it was God, I don't remember, but I'm still going through it. I was watching, I think like episode, it's either 3 or 4. I wanted to watch way more over this last week, but my downloads got fucked. Don't worry, I'm still going through it. I think right now I'm slowly reading through also Attack on Titan because one of my friends really wants me to read an Attack on Titan. Also, again, showing up this stream, I'd really appreciate it if you would go and maybe share it with anybody that you think would like to come in and chat. Maybe retweet the stream on Twitter, try and spread it around. But also thumbs up the stream and like it, and yeah, participate in the chat. I like reading people's questions and seeing exactly what we can discuss. As I hopefully one day get caught up with these. Say Jacob did attack Acnology back in Alvarez and Acnology Norm. Acnology would probably kill the shit out of him. It would just be sad. Like, if he tried to do anything but it didn't affect him and Acnology just walked away and didn't even pay any attention to him, I'd be like, goddamn, get them savage. What are your thoughts on the past couple chapters of Seven Deadly Sins? I haven't liked them. I've been really unhappy about them. I've been bothered. I didn't like the Demon King being the villain. I've talked about it a few times. I wanted Mel Starosta to be a villain because I think he had the perfect setup and the perfect spot in the series. Because the series, this TLDRing, the whole series is like Romeo and Juliet, but with angels and demons. And Mel was this, he was, the champion of the goddess clan who had an affection for pretty much the princess. And she cucked him for the prince of their enemies, and he ended up kind of merging in between light and dark and becoming a fallen angel. So he was both the guy, the odd one out in a love triangle, but also this kind of in between the two main races. And I thought he had a great spot. I really liked that form he had when he had all those 4 commandments, and he had this kind of like priest look. He had that black and white robe, he had the black and white wings, and I just thought he looked really cool. I liked his presence in this series, and it was cool to see him like progress and that plot twist with him. The Demon King just seems lame. I don't really care for him, and it's gonna suck if he was actually the final villain. The thing that I think that the Kaba can do to save Seven Deadly Sins is if his next series takes place in the same world but on a different country, because he has Japan existent. He could go to Japan. He could do stuff in, I don't know, Russia or, South America or Spain. He could just pick another spot and, read up on their lore, read up on their mythological aspects and incorporate it. And then it'd be also really cool for it to exist in the same world, but then bring some of the characters over. maybe have like Arthur or Nanashi, actually make Nanashi somehow relevant. I really wish he was so cool when he was introduced. And, you know, maybe you can have some of the sins travel and eventually meet up with the main characters of a second story. I think that's how I think Seven Deadly Sins can be saved, in my opinion, is if he ends up continuing it, but in a way that doesn't. It feels like a new series, but it has the same potential. Because Seven Deadly Sins in the first arc is pretty good, and then the second arc started out pretty good, and then I think fell off a little bit. That's just. I would like it to be existent in the same world, because I would like just to kind of continue off from it instead of starting anew. Because he can still do a lot of stuff, and he didn't do any like crazy power jump like he did with Congo Bancho, or however his previous series was pronounced. Like, characters went from like being able to destroy skyscrapers to like splitting Japan and stuff, and it was just like if he did that right now, I think it would be too much of a jump, and it would be too hard for. You know, like, imagine if it was, like, actually, like, a world threat. And it's like, well, how are you going to have other characters do shit if this was the real big bosses versus, like, if they do it in Japan, if they have some super Japanese boss, or Russia or something, like I said. I forgot who's the setup to end with Laxus. Wait, who was set up to end up with Laxus? Well, there was a bunch of people. But I mentioned before, in City Hero, he's actually kind of had, like, a moment with Hisui. And I think that'd be cool if they did that in the main one. And then Lactus became King of Fiore. Please do it. Like, that'd be such a nice end for Laxus if instead of being Guildmaster, he ends up becoming King. It'd be pretty hilarious. You guys want the author to power up characters, and it got your wish. Wait, you guys wanted the author to do power ups? Yeah, I mean, talking about Black Clover, then power ups aren't like breaking because we don't know the full length. We don't know like what the end game power levels are. We're only seeing stuff in the Clover Kingdom versus we don't know the other kingdoms. We don't know about other continents or anything. Do you think Laxus and Urza should have given the title of Wizard Saint by now? I mean, the Wizard Saint though. I mean, Laxus was a Wizard Saint level because there's a bit at one of the covers where it's Laxus. They talked about he was going to become a Wizard Saint, but the council was hesitant on it because, you know, he's a scoundrel, and they didn't really know how to really feel giving it to him because Guild Arts was long since Wizard Saint level, but they never gave it to him because, you know, he's also a scoundrel, because there is a level of like political like association with Wizard King, or not Wizard King, sorry, with Wizard Saint. Deku turned into a side villain side? No, that won't happen. Deku's too much of a pure boy. Maybe Deku can activate one of the other quirks. I don't know. I just don't like the fact that he's going to be able to have that much versatility when, I mean, like, because they're all going to be really good. And if he's got 7 top tier powers he can switch between that are all like that, it's just going to be like, what are any of the other characters? You're going to have characters like Overhaul where it's like their powers are so broken that they can kind of cover that gap. But at the same time, it's like Overhaul and like Bad Touch. I mean, what the hell? All it's gonna take is one touch. Like, they just have to get their ability off, and Deku's fucked. That was why I didn't really like the Overhaul versus Deku fight, because you knew Deku was never gonna get that attack landed on, because otherwise he's dead. Versus like if it happened to Asta could, you know, maybe it'll do some damage. Maybe it would like decay part of his body, but he hits it with his anti-magic and like cancels it out if the equivalent. But versus like Gentle, I thought Gentle was a much cooler fight than Deku had with Overhaul. And I can't believe how much attention Black Clover is getting now. Yeah, like everyone shit on it at the start. I don't like big shonens. I don't like that. Like, even if it was very similar to some like any of the others, I don't know why I would jump like chapter 1. It's just introductory. It exists to get your attention. You know, they're gonna have maybe a similar feel to something else. Because there's a lot of stuff that, you know, that you can associate shit with. And yet, like, you gotta give them time to get through all the, like, the basic explanations and, the introductory bits. Like, as soon as Black Clover got to, I think, the Diamond arc, both in the anime and the manga, people picked up on it. Or it's like, wow, cool, you guys waited 10 minutes. Like, it's annoying because I think that's part of the reason, at least one of the reasons why the Black Clover fandom doesn't like the My Hero Academia fandom, is because, My Hero Academia didn't have to deal with that shit, because it, like, My Hero Academia has a lot more similarities to Naruto than Black Clover does, and and yet no one shit on it because it got popular quicker with the superhero fad. And I just thought it was kind of unfair. And I don't hold it, but I think a lot of people do. But I like the rivalry between the fandoms. I think it's fun. I do really wish though that fucking people would be more patient, because a lot of big shonens, there's a lot of them that start very similar. Like, not everything's gonna be goddamn Chainsaw Man, or it's just like, holy shit, what the fuck. Like, even Jujutsu Kaisen's pretty awesome, but like the first chapter wasn't like crazy special. Chainsaw Man is the only one that's like their first chapter. I was just like, what the fuck? God damn, this is crazy already. You got to give them a while. I think after whichever the arc is first after the introductory arc, I think is the first arc to really kind of gauge the series. I think with like Eden Zero, I think it was the whole rescue with rescue Rebecca, and I thought that was pretty fun. I liked the characters introduced in it. I liked I like Shiki's autistic rage when fighting Iliga. There's a lot of stuff that I have a lot of fun with. I think the first really big arc for Eden Zero will be after they get the team back, or maybe whichever Draken Joe arc will be. Deku, yeah, I read that. Deku has 8 quirks. He masters them, then other characters will have to get more quirks, and villains easy to beat up with 8 master quirks. Yeah, it's just obviously because there's always the expectation the main character becomes the most powerful at the end, but it's just like, that's fucking overkill. Deku right now is in the same spot, I think, like, if anyone remembers Digimon Frontier, because usually in Digimon, at least in the first 2, you had the main character and his rival. They always kind of like got one level ahead of everyone else, because like in the original, everyone got to Ultimate, and then Tai and Matt got to Mega, and then the second one, they got, oh my god, it was because all the DNA digivolved, and then you had, what was it? It was Imperial Dramon. No, it was, oh my god, I'm trying to remember. But he had Paladin mode, and he evolved from like, oh no, Paladin mode was when he had the super buff from the movie, but he went from like, it was, oh my god, I'm trying to remember. I have to look it up. But you know what I mean. They had the +1, and then there's Frontier where the main characters were like 2 levels above everyone else, and it was just like, what the hell? Like all the other characters became kind of just like there for emotional support, and that's what I worry about with My Hero Academia, with Deku becoming so powerful. The only ones that, like, maybe Bakugo, if he ends up like super buffing up his quirk, or if they all go through like weird quirk mutations and they like advance to a new level or something. I don't know. I just don't. I'm worried about other characters kind of falling off and it just becoming like kind of like how most of the characters are right now in Dragon Ball. Like, unless your name is Goku or Vegeta, it's like, what the fuck is the point of you? You're not gonna do anything. You're gonna fight side characters that, if it wasn't for the fact that Goku or Vegeta are busy with anyone of relevance, they would just go one shot. How strong do you think Jack and Joe's crew is? Again, it's a distraction. Like, I'm wondering if it Rax the ever distracted. Yeah, it's because I go off on tangents and rants all the time. It's hard to really gauge because we haven't seen a large scale of bigger characters yet. We don't, like in Fairy Tail. Once we saw, like when we saw Makarov and Jose really have their first fight, we could kind of gauge Wizard Saint tier characters and big boys like that. We haven't really got that yet in Eden Zero. We've only seen like people who can mess with Shiki, but Shiki ultimately can defeat. Draken Joe is obviously going to be the first like big guy that they face against that Shiki's not going to be able to really go through, because like I said, a lot of introductory arcs, and most of it, when it's in the introductory phase, it's not building up some big villain. It's mostly just, to get used to the tone, get used to the characters, see how they go about problem solving and fighting and whatnot. What's your thoughts on Jerza? I like Jalal a lot. Jalal, I've always enjoyed Jalal, and he's a cool guy. I wish he would realize that he's done enough so he could be with Urza. I hope I can catch up to My Hero Academia. Yeah, the current arc shows a lot of promise. I'm actually interested in what's going on right now. It was just the last arc. Like, It's only because the last arc was pretty much gearing up when I started reviewing it that people think that I just don't like My Hero Academia. It's just the last arc was so boring. And then like before that, you had the pro hero with Endeavor Hawks. That was awesome. Actually, yeah, no, that's where I started reviewing it. That's the same with One Piece. Like I was really excited when I started reviewing it because we were like in a reverie, and then it like got super boring into Wano. But the current arc is interesting in My Hero Academia. So yeah, I'd recommend catching up. Which captain in all of anime would you be? Wait, which captain in all of, I mean, what the fuck? All captains ever? Jeez, that's too large of a question. Like, there's like a million captains in different series. Like, my captain of like a sports team or superpowers. Like, I'd have to literally look at a list of how many I can think of. Because off the top of my head, captains, all I can only think about, there's obviously Black Clover, but also like Bleach and stuff. Because like Fairy Tail didn't really have captains other than Arcadius was a captain, wasn't he? Yeah, wasn't he a captain? Oh god, I have to double check. Let's see. Blah blah blah. Yeah, say a Black Asta and a Dive Formuno fought Lactus together at the Battle of Fairy Tail. Compared to that, yeah, they can win at that point, but he has to get off. It would have to be post Fairy Law. Because that was the big thing that really helped them defeat Laxus, is the fact that he wasted his his magic massively in that whole bit. Hold on, did something happen to my stream? I'm still streaming. Oh, I lost connection over here. Hold on. There we go. My stream like cut out on me on my end, so I had to make sure it wasn't broken or nothing. Anyway. Yeah, I think they could beat him, but it has to be after he uses Fairy Law, because that was the big thing that really hurt Laxus in their fight, is he used a big spell, and it was just waste of magic that really didn't amount to anything for him. But luckily for him, it really in the end helped him. Helped get him in a better headspace. Let me scroll up. I'm thinking of reading Kimetsu no Yaiba. Kimetsu no Yaiba is awesome. Yeah. Hello, Janelle Shiner, have you been in one of my streams before? Welcome. How's it going? Just send Kagutsuchi to take out the Demon King. Just light him up. Kagutsuchi, isn't that? Oh my God, Kagutsuchi, is that Bleach? I'm thinking of Mayuri's Shikai. Isn't that Kagutsuchi? Oh my God, making me think about this now. I want to Google it later. You saw Shigaraki's backstory in the latest chapter of My Academia. Yeah, that was cool. I'm wondering if they're going to let his character actually be of value, because, like, he hasn't done anything. Like, the whole series, he hasn't really done anything, and they noted that. And obviously, like I talked about, I think the whole point is the fact that he's, like, a scrub villain, and he's kind of incompetent, and you're going to have to see him kind of get pushed into becoming a good villain. And, training for it. And that's probably what's going to happen here. I wish that... The only thing I can say is I wish Horikoshi would have All for One, give him a different power. Because I don't like the fact that his power one-shots people. Because then, like, how is he going to fight Deku? Like, all Deku has to do is avoid those 5 fingers and just land a punch in, and he should win. If Laxus ended up Hisui, Freed would be crying. Well, Freed's never going to get that. Freed knows that Laxus is straight. Let's see. I have to ask, isn't Aknologi still alive? He was trapped in the fairy sphere, not killed. No, he was... Well, his body... I have a theory. So I have a theory that he's not dead because his soul was destroyed in the gap between time. So I'm wondering if you could do something with him, like the fact that maybe because his soul dissipated and crumbled, maybe it, like, merged with time. That was part of my theory of the chronophage, is, like, why it's time hungry. Because at that point, Aknologi kind of gained, like, time magic. Maybe he was, like, a bit of a time dragon. And that would explain why the chronophage is dragon-like. It eats time, wanders around space. It kind of has a similar head shape as Aknologia. At least the one we saw going towards Gilst was. But that would be, in my theory, if Hiramashima ever combined his series. I was talking to somebody recently that was trying to, like, get at me, like, trying to go, haha, he said that they're all in different universes, but I don't think he remembers Fairy Tail already has the characters that know how to go between universes. I mean, look at Edalus. Dum-dum. Facts, what level of power would you say Gildarts would be, is at Wizard Saint or Demigod? Oh, wait, what? Would you say Gildarts is at? Well, I mean, Gildarts is he's Spriggan level. We obviously saw that. He obviously would have been a contender with God Serena if he ever got to go into the Wizard Saints, and he was actually not just wander around doing his own thing. Horikoshi may have written himself into a problem with those 7 quirks. Yeah, I don't like it. Like I said, I'm not a fan of it. He can do what he wants. It's obviously his series. He can just maybe he's got a plan for it, but I'm not a fan of it personally. You remember when people said that the Black Bulls were rip off Fairy Tail Guild because they were both rowdy? Yeah, that was dumb. The thing is, all that really is a relation to them is that they're rowdy. The Black Bulls are, I think, a lot more. They're a lot more well trained than Fairy Tail, because they actually stop when Yami like tells them to stop, and doesn't seem to really do much for Fairy Tail. It kind of quells them for a minute, and I guess if all the relation is they're rowdy, it's like, okay, how do the characters individually rate with each other? How do they compare? It's just like, if all you have to say is, well, they're a very excited group. Well, okay, fantastic. I guess that makes any group ever that's excited a ripoff of Fairy Tail. Thanks a lot. It was a dumb comparison, because it's like, who in the Black Bulls compares, or who in Fairy Tail is comparable to Yami? I mean, they don't have anything like that. I mean, you could see like the comparison between Vanessa and Kana, but like, who's Luck? Who's Luck supposed to be? Who's Charmy? Who the fuck is Gordon supposed to be? It's kind of goofy. I never liked that comparison. DB Dragon Ball Super is coming back soon. What improvements do you want to see? Actually, like, I'll just kind of TLDR it. I didn't really care about Super until the Broly movie, because all they did was take old stuff and then just do it again, but less interesting and bigger power levels. And it was just like, I don't want to watch this or read it. It's boring. And then they had the Broly movie. I thought was cool. I liked that Broly felt more like the main character. He felt more like the protagonist of the movie, and Goku kind of felt like a douche. But the current arc, I like the current arc. I didn't like the last chapter, because it's like, if Moro is so strong that he could drain the energy from Goku and Vegeta, right? He has the ability to drain enough energy from them to render them powerless and pretty much just beat them into submission. How is it taking him 3 days to drain people on Namek? How is he not literally just like putting his hand in Namek and draining all the power up from it? Like, the size of Namek shouldn't really matter if he's able to pull out an energy quantity that is like Goku and Vegeta at the same time. I don't believe for a second, because like Dragon Ball power stuff, there's no way that the total power of Namek is greater than even Goku or Vegeta in base. Like, I don't believe that at all, because they can blow up the planet. They should have no problem blowing up the planet in base form. Like, it's goofy. I thought that was dumb. And it's like that part at the end when it was like, oh, we've had our elite Namekians fuse up, they merge together to go fight Moro. And, it's the last technique of, the last-ditch effort of Namekians. And it's just like, it's not going to do anything. Why did they think it's going to do anything? They just saw Goku and Vegeta get their asses kicked. Why did the Namekians think they're going to do anything? Why don't they just leave? Why don't they just fucking leave? Stupid. I mean, clearly, all they would have to do is gather their Dragon Balls, wish for another Namek, and then go there. Or wish Moro away. It's dumb. I didn't like that. I liked the chapters leading up to it, but I didn't like the last one, just because it was like 46 pages of what should have happened in like 10. Or I think it was like 42 or some shit, but I am not worried about Deku. If anything, the author has taught us that he knows what he's doing and handles characters really well. I'm not worried. I don't know, because the thing is, like, a lot of the characters have really fallen off already, and a lot of Class 1A feels like just a background support character. Like, it took from the sports festival until that match for Aravity, Choco, whatever, to do anything. And all she did was, like, take whatever his name is, Monoma or whatever, and, like, shoulder throw him. That was, like, it. So it's just, like, what character's next? What character's next to evolve? And, like, what is Edgebird gonna really advance? All he gained since forever ago was he has like a flight form where he can kind of like fly a little bit. Like, he hasn't gotten to that big buff shadowy form yet, or even really like a weaker version. I would just really like it if, I don't know, I just have this feeling it's gonna end up like that, where it's just gonna be It's just gonna be everyone is just holding out to Deku shows up and beats the bad guy. I mean, obviously, like I said, I don't know what's gonna happen. Or Koshi could have this all planned and it could all work out. It's just, cautionary things from the experience of other series, and that's what I think a lot of people don't remember when people say they're worried about something. It's not that they're saying I've given up on Horikoshi. It's just saying I've seen this happen before. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I am cautious, and it's just that worry factor. Because like if you told me back at getting into Dragon Ball, like back in like the 90s, early 90s, like late 80s, when Dragon Ball was getting big, no, I doubt anyone would believe you if they said eventually it's just going to be Goku and everyone else is going to stand around watching. And obviously back then, other characters weren't as strong as Goku, but they were still relevant. Like Krillin was still a pretty good fighter, Tien was still a pretty good fighter, Yamcha was a decent fighter. But now it's like, who's really doing much? And obviously, like, if it was like Endgame Deku or like further down the line, it'd be different. But we're still in like he's still a student, and he's already way stronger than most of the pro heroes. Like, I don't know. Dragon Ball Super hasn't been announced yet by Toei. I wish it's called. I hope it's not called Dragon Ball Super. I hope they change the name to like Dragon Ball Ultra, like Ultra Instinct or Dragon Ball Instinct, or just Dragon Ball something else to kind of just differentiate it between Super. I doubt they will, but I don't know. It'd be kind of cool because he's not really going to be using the Super Saiyan form moving forward, at least the Super Saiyan God one, because he's going to be working more towards Ultra Instinct. There's also the theory that Goku's going to unlock Super Saiyan 4 because obviously they're going to need a different ki. And the thing about Super Saiyan 4 is its whole special thing is it can adapt to other people's ki. And so logically you might be able to have like that be the counter to someone like Moro. You kind of adapt your ki to his so he can't drain it in some weird explanation. But they obviously had with Broly, his whole form of how Legendary Super Saiyan, or what is now not really called Legendary Super Saiyan anymore, the Akari form is pretty much like the explanation going into Super Saiyan 4 of being able to use Great Ape powers while still not being Great Ape, which would be pretty cool. I like that. I hope that it's a nice callback towards it as well. Bakugo becomes a cyborg. That'd be weird. Jalon Urza need to fuck already. Yeah, he needs to realize he's done enough. Do you think Black Clover is better than My Academia? I personally do. That's my opinion, though. Well, Tabata seems to have a lot more planned out. I like his cast more. I think he has a lot better system of like powers and fights. I like his world more. I think it's more interesting because like he's setting it up to go to other places. But like My Hero Academia, I can't ever tell if they're going to leave Japan or if it's just going to take place in Japan. And he's not going to utilize heroes from other countries and villains from other countries. So I think it'd be cooler if he left Japan at some point and maybe like the League of Villains instead was like every big shot from the different countries, like the Akatsuki of villains in their world. You guys are asking on states for each cosmos? No, I hope there are different bad guy groups, but I hope that they're not all just like groups of galactic warlords. I would like it if they all kind of felt fresh and different. Because even like looking back at Tartarus, like difference between the Racion Seis, Tartarus, and Grimoire Heart is they all have their own different feels to them, and I'm hoping like I like the fact that you got this cool Fairy Tale and Rave Master reference with the Racion Seis Galactica. The voice cracked a little bit right there. The Racion Seis Galactica, but I also want to make sure that we keep the original flow without it just being lots of heavy references for Eden Zero. Missed my question. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to miss your question. Do you think Wall like a dragon eater? Wait, do you think we'll see Wall like a dragon eater, like a combo dragon sing magic alchemy machine? I don't know. The thing is, do you mean for? Let me see. Oh, do you mean like an? Oh, like an. Okay, I think I know what you mean. I mean like a machine dragon. It'd be kind of weird because like I talked about it a little bit. I think the dragon gods will all be kind of like very understandable elemental, and then the dragon eaters are all going to be weird attributes. Obviously like blade, armor, ash. We'll probably see some more probably between this arc and the next one. We'll probably see like Kyria and Madmal and Scarion all kind of like showing up at their base, maybe foreshadowing show a few other dragon eaters and maybe their boss, maybe their headquarters. And I think it'd be cool. Even if we don't see them in action, I think it'd just be cool to see another character and say, like, this is their name, this is what they look like, and their Dragon Slayer element. Even if we don't see them use it at the time, it'd be cool just to kind of, like, speculate off it. Because that was pretty sick about Scario, with just the title. And you had, like, there was, like, the first one was Corpse, and then you had, like, Ash. I think Bone Dragon makes more sense, obviously, with his design. But it was pretty fun just to see those sick titles and like just like knowing that was his dragon slaying type, and it was just like I can't wait to see it in action. And I really want to see more of it. I think his is really cool. And I wonder if he has more techniques, like maybe he has like a bone sword, or if he's got like an ash slash. Like his was very interesting. I think his is my favorite so far out of the 3. Oh my god, I'm never gonna try to catch up. Legend Divache, what's up, dude? Nothing much. We're just chatting, talking about random stuff, talking about questions about all the different manga stuff. Never got braces, they hurt. Or never get braces hurt. Yeah, I remember when I got braces. That sucked. Well, I also had to get, did you have to get, Joshua, did you have to get spacers before you got them? Because I had to, so I had, I actually had, I think I had to move my teeth because my top teeth are slightly, I think it's like, my top teeth were slightly further forward, like they're slightly tilted, the top jaw, like 1 degree. So they had to pull 2 of my teeth, and then they had to move. They had to slowly move. My canines on the top row like a little bit to kind of be like in the middle spot between the tooth between the 2 teeth now, and that fucking hurt. I refused to do anything. Like I don't even think I went to school at the time. I just wanted to sleep and just like wait till it was over because it was painful as fuck. It was worse than the braces. It's just like the fact that I'm now moving my teeth. I'm like, fucking hell, that was horrible. How many Black Bulls members do you think we'll get when we get the vice captain? Maybe 2 members. I think Sally will be a member, and whenever the vice captain comes back. I don't think Valtros will be a member, and I don't think Raditz will be a member. I think we're good on Black Bulls because Sally and the Vice Captain, I think, are the only ones I'd like to see, in addition, because eventually Asta's gonna break off and make his own Night Order, I imagine. Same thing with Yuno and maybe even Noel. When White's trapped more with those turrets, you think she could have beaten him? I don't think so. He's way more clever, and he's better at setting stuff up, and she's obviously like a direct fighter. We don't know if he had anything else set up as well. It seemed like too many guns for her to be able to deal with. Like, he had too many. How do you think alchemy works in Eden Zero? Maybe like Full Metal Alchemist? I think it'll be more like potions instead of like I think it'll be more like that kind of alchemy versus Full Metal Alchemist alchemy, because their alchemy is more like magic. It's more like magic science. Like they're doing all that. They're doing magic through science. Like literally, I think that's the best description of Full Metal Alchemist alchemy. And that's kind of like how Walls was. But I think Draken Joe will be more like a potions guy. I mean, that's just my theory though. Kagutsuchi. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting stuff. But isn't that Mayuri's Shikai in Bleach? Isn't his Kagutsuchi? Oh my god. I really want to get to Bleach. I've been rewatching Bleach, and I want to read the manga again soon. Forgot how much I missed Bleach. And I'm waiting for that Kubo announcement. I really hope Kubo is going to announce a Bleach continuation. Or an adaptation of the novel into the manga. Please! I need a Kubo. Senatsu is another near-death experience. Like, he didn't outrest DC him talking to Ignil Zeref and maybe even like Logan and Subconscious. That'd be kind of cool. I would like to see something like that. I'm wondering if maybe, like, he's having something out right now. Like, he's maybe, like... Because he's definitely not himself right now. He's in this kind of, like, weird state. Maybe part of his conscious is kind of, like, sitting back and watching. We'll find out next chapter. I'm very much excited to see how things go like that. What if Acnologia end up training Natsu through time? That'd be really weird. I think that'd be kind of cool if he's like, well, you're king now. I need to make sure you don't lose. Like, you better hold the title since you beat me. I think that'd be pretty sick. Like, if time stopped and it's Acnologia and he just, like, talks to him. That'd be pretty badass. That'd be pretty cool to keep Acnologia around without really him being there. Deku should meet Natsu. I don't think Deku would like Natsu. I mean, Natsu's a little bit too rowdy for him. Deku's a little bit too passive. I do think Aston will be given a squad to lead like Yami and William. Yeah, they're eventually, because a lot of them have shown that once they become captains, they get to make their own. They can make their own night order. Because like it seems like you're either promoted to captain of a group, or like you're promoted to captain because something happened to the captain of the order you're in, or if they're just like, I think you should be a captain even though you're in a group already, make you a captain, and then you can go make your own crew. That's probably what happened with Yami. Let me see. Do you think Natsu have trouble? Do you think Natsu would have trouble with Todoroki? No. I mean, what version of Natsu? Like Natsu right now? No, Natsu would flick anybody from My Hero Academia out of existence right now. I mean, like, it depends on what arc. Do you see Hermit getting backstory related to this arc? Oh yeah, we'll probably find out why she doesn't like humans. You think Natsu would have trouble? Yeah, I read that. You think you heard about My Hero? Oh, the next movie? Yeah. I always make the joke about it being My Hero Academia 2. 3 Heroes is the name. What if Fairy Tail introduced power scaling somewhere around Tenryu? I don't like power scaling and like power levels when it's given to him like a number. Like his power's 1005. How is he beating that character whose power is 1002? That's I think what really hurt Seven Deadly Sins, because then like people justify like power levels. It's like, how does Merlin doing shit to people when her power level's like 4 or 5,000? And she's beating these guys who are like 180k each, and she's like destroying them at the same time. And I think it's better when fans kind of deduce power levels and like more like power placements. When you say like, okay, because this character, has beaten this character, he should be around, this character, like these guys. Like, kind of like how Jalal and Laxus have always been kind of like pretty much close in terms of power. But it'd be annoying if it was like given exact numbers, but not consistent towards them. Because that's what happened with Dragon Ball. That's what happened with Seven Deadly Sins. I don't want that to happen. What if Gamora and Wise fucked off screen and she said it'll be part of her training? That'd be nice. Gamora is a little bit strange though. I mean, Wise would do it. Like, even if she said it like to try and intimidate, probably like, okay, let's go. Let's go, B. Do you think Toko White Mage coming up at some point? I don't want anything to happen. Like I said, I don't want anything to happen. I don't want to deter away from what's going on until after they finish the fight with Mercphobia, because I want to see how this goes. I'm very interested, and then maybe we could have something happen. Like, unless it was something that related to it. Like if Natsu used like an empowered sword horn and like drove him across the ocean and they ended up at the guild somehow. Unless it was something like that. Like, I don't want them just to be like, I don't want them just to randomly go back, and I don't want the story to like jump back over to what's going on at Fairy Tail Guild until after they finish stuff with Mercphobia. That's where my attention really is right now. I'm so interested in it. Who would win between Yami and Zoro? Yami would win because his magic combos and everything, and all it would take is one dimension slash and Zoro's dead. Yes, I agree. Do you think Patri the Elves should have been defeated first and introduced the demon? No, because that's what everyone I think would have been expecting. Is that whole like, this isn't the final boss. Like if it didn't feel like they defeated the final boss, he just popped up. I like this better because nobody was expecting it. It just happened, and I thought that was pretty sick. You should read Record of Ragnarok if you haven't. Oh yeah, I'll check it out. I'll look at. Is that a manga or is that like a novel or something? Oh sweet, I caught up. I caught up with the comments. So Aknology didn't turn good after he died, right? Because it would be kind of weird given how messed up he was. Or the theory that we were just talking about is not becoming good, but if he only aided and like talked to Natsu and maybe like talked and like trained him like and like gave him pointers and stuff, not unlike, well, I'm gonna be your buddy now, but more of like, you better not ever lose to anybody since you beat me. So you better end up the strongest, because that way I can only say that I lost to the strongest. Something like that, where it's more of like he's doing it to keep his own status. Because really, would you rather be silver or gold or bronze? It'd be like, damn, I got second place, but I lost to the best guy, versus like the guy that beat me just lost. Fucking-tastic. Power scaling sucks, like the things I despise by anime as a whole. Like I said, I don't like it when the author tries to do it because it becomes very inconsistent when they give numbers and shit. I think it's better when it's kind of more for like speculation. Natsu from Tenryu getting Lightning Flame Dragon. No, I like Lightning Flame Dragon. It's pretty sick. He doesn't use it anymore. He probably had to get. I think my theory is he had to get rid of it to advance into Fire Dragon King mode. Yeah, I don't like Seth the programmer. Do you think that there's more? Who do you think is more intelligent when it comes to Magic? August, Hades, or Jalal? August, clearly. Yuno versus Bakugo. Yuno would fucking maul Bakugo. He's just way more powerful. So there's Hime's were slumbering, like Ultra Stasis mixed with Nano Machines maintenance in Black Clover World. How much of a force would they be? The girls are quite ridiculous. They could probably do. I mean, they have a lot of good powers. I think they could produce some pretty good contenders for like captains and stuff. Think a theory about how Zeref met Akalogia. Do you have a theory of how Zeref met Akalogia hundreds of years ago? I mean, he probably like it was probably something more of like he knew of him. And maybe they just kind of ran into each other from time to time. But I'm definitely curious to how that happens. I don't know if we're ever going to find out any, like, direct meetings unless Hiroshima unless either he does it or he greenlets, like, a Zeref Rise to Power. And we get more about, you know, the journey as Zeref went along, like, creating Albereth, you know, creating the demons and stuff. And just seeing it as it's going on. I think that'd be really cool, and I talked about that a few times. Do you think Herman and Wise's power are too similar? Wait, what? Hermit and Wise. Well, no, because Wise's power is he takes machines and he can in real time reconfigure them, whereas Hermit's power is she's doing directly coding. She's in machines because they talked about it a little bit when they said they think someone infiltrated the system of Eden Zero. And they talked about like its security systems weren't penetrate. No one could penetrate. What's the word? Impenetrable. There we go. And the fact that Hermit wasn't there, it's possible. So she's definitely got obviously some programming skills, and we saw it in the last chapter. She's only doing what she's doing because they're in a digital world, versus if they're in the real world. If they were like in a fight, like say they were in a battle, right, and there was a robot nearby, Wise would be able to reconfigure it into a weapon or a different kind of robot. Where, well, I guess he would have to do a weapon because he wouldn't be able to alter the robot, really, at least at the same speed that Hermit could do, whereas Hermit could just rewrite its programming. And it also thought that Jake was just a random assassin Zeref hired to beat Fiore. I was surprised he stayed in Albereth in 100 Years Quest without Jill. Oh, he was part of the squad. He was an assassin group, because beforehand... before Zeref to everything, all of Albereth, like they had, I think it was 730 dark guilds altogether of legal and dark guilds, and Zeref united them all, and so he probably, you know, found all this like special elite level people and gave him that spot as Spriggan. So he was probably just like some super badass assassin that he's just like, hey, you want to come work for me? Well, I guess it wasn't like an offer. It was more of like, hey, guess what? You can have a spot with me or die. Favorite Straw Hat favorite member of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet? Brooke. I like Brooke. Thing I liked about One Piece is seemingly taking weird and silly things into awesome powers. Yeah, that's what I liked about Luffy, but I'm not a huge fan of... it's not that I don't like Luffy. I haven't really liked Luffy post-time skip. I haven't liked a lot of decisions he's made, and it feels kind of like all the character development he got from Marineford has really broken away and kind of steered out. And then, like, fourth gear has been more of just, like, big empowered versions of second and third gear. And it doesn't seem the same way of, like, Luffy was more of, like, an improv fighter who, you know, figure out his opponent's weakness during the fight. It seems now he just develops more powerful forms and techniques in the middle of fights. Now you're in Black Clover crossover the Himes. Reawaken system, start over killing all Wizard Kings. Why would they kill all the Wizard Kings? Bring back to the Obsidian Prince. Damn. Well, wouldn't they just need Raditz? Poor Invul still can't get over Zeref's death, and he still wants to war with her. Yeah, he's sad. I don't think it was ever gone over whether he just really respected Zeref, or it kind of seemed like he had romantic interest in him, but I think he just really admired him. I mean, I get him. Nineheart, I'm more surprised because Nineheart's like, why would you do it? I mean, I get Invul, like, because. It would be kind of dumb if afterwards, if they're like, hey, you tried to kill Brainish or go to jail, and be like, okay, yeah, it was on orders of Irene, so what do you mean? There's likely going to be a. I feel like I'm surprised there hasn't really been a My Hero Academia and Black Clover crossover. I mean, they could do it. I mean, it doesn't matter how they try and explain stuff. I mean, I just have to say it's not canon, and no one will question it. Just say that hey, we're going on a trip to Europe, to England, and then just have like some fictional island, and that's where fucking the Black Bulls are at trying to find shit. I think it'd be fun. They don't have to explain shit. If it's a crossover that's not canon. I think Nineheart missed Irene and won revenge for it. He seemed really bummed. I want him to get out, please. I'm hoping he gets out, finds Natsu, and makes Smart Gear again, please. Indel, I just wish to get out because I like Indel. I thought he was really cool. Nineheart is trash, even though Fairy Tail is my favorite anime. I mean, Nineheart as a character, I didn't really... I liked his power. I think he had a cool power. I think his design... everyone is real salty at what his design turned out to be when his silhouette was so cool. I'm still salty that he didn't use his story of the dead to make another Mard Gear. I never got to see Mard Gear again. Which Black Bull do you remember? Which Black Bull member you think has the most chance to die? I think it will either be Yami, Gotch, Manga, or Fenrir. Mine is Henry, because Henry's new enough that people aren't like deeply attached to him, but he still is likable enough that people would feel sad if he died. Gotch I think would be kind of weird because he hasn't. I don't think he's become that liked within the fan base. It would just kind of be like, well, that sucks. Fenrir dying would make me sad. And Yami, I think dying would make sense of position, but I don't think he will because he's a big favorite amongst the character of the fandom. Everyone likes Yami. Yami's pretty fucking awesome. All right, what are we going at? Hour and 40 minutes. All right, let's wrap. I'm gonna wrap up the stream. It was good talking to you guys this week. Had fun. Always I like talking to you guys. Next week is gonna obviously be thicker because we're gonna have the Fairy Tail chapter as well. Oh my god, I'm trying really hard to click on a tab and my cat won't get off my goddamn keyboard. But Fairy Tail in 2 days, looking forward to that. So like before, I'm gonna read the chapter as soon as it comes out because I can buy it off the app that the Japanese release it on. I'll put some stuff out on Twitter if you guys are interested, and we'll see what exactly is going on with this week. So definitely gonna be fun. Definitely gonna be fun this week. Looking forward to Fairy Tail for real. I'm gonna do a couple more. I'm getting more Clash profiles set up. I'm hoping you guys are gonna get towards that. Oh, let me read these last couple ones. Is God Serena on Dragon Eater's level? I think so. I think he could be a Dragon Eater for sure. Yeah, because like the Spriggan 12 are still pretty powerful. I mean, they had varying different like levels because you had someone like Nineheart, who was very powerful, but he's a summoner, so he didn't have a very durable body. So someone like Natsu was a bad counter to him. Because most summoners, you gotta keep in mind, most summoners have a frail body within Fairy Tail. Lucy's different because she'd refused to fight behind all her spirits, so she got beat the hell up a lot. So she built up a high level of durability that way. Or like Gray, because he fought Natsu a lot, younger, so he's used to taking beatings. But like, yeah, if God Serena is, he's on level with the Dragoners, that's understandable. Because God Serena's still powerful. He just got fucked because he tried to fight Acnologia. Luckily, Agil doesn't have a grudge with Fairy Tail, even though they beat him. Oh, he wasn't. The thing is, a lot of Albrecht didn't feel evil. They were just fighting for their side. They're fighting for their emperor. I mean, the only member of them that really seemed evil and like unstable was Irene, because she was fucking crazy. But like, Agil didn't seem evil. He just seemed like, he was a soldier for his kingdom, and he fought for them. I mean, there's definitely some bad tendencies to him, but he didn't come off as like this malefic, villainous dude. And it's good that he's doing well now, and he's calmed down. And look at Demaria. Demaria was more sadistic than he was, and she's just a gardener now. She's just like, I'm done with fighting. Hey, I'm a god. I have a god inside of me that could stop time, but I'm gonna go gardening instead. But yeah, a crossover with Black Clover. My Himeba says I absolutely hate Obsidian Prince, and some Wizard King decided that it was a good idea to bring back so Wizard King Bird Spree. Yeah, I like crossovers. I think crossovers are most fun because of character interactions. It doesn't even if the story isn't great, as long as there's fun character interactions, I like the crossovers. later. Yeah, till next time. Yeah, next week. Hope you guys come back. I'll put out my Jujutsu Kaisen chapter after this one. If you haven't read Jujutsu Kaisen yet, seriously get on it. That manga is so good. I have so much fun reading it. So these last couple of chapters have been fire. And again, especially if you like villains, if you like villains a lot, like Jujutsu Kaisen has a lot of great villains. I mean, Najo was pretty ruthless. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but he was pretty ruthless, but he didn't come off as like some malefic evil guy. He just kind of seemed like a bad guy, but not like irredeemable. Like Gajo was pretty vicious when he showed up, but obviously he got redeemed. Yeah, only evil ones were Blood. Well, I mean, Bloodman didn't seem the same level of evil that like Irene was. Irene just seemed like a not good person. Bloodman just kind of seemed like he was messed up. Obviously, he's a demon, so it's a little bit different for him because he was made to do that. Anyway, other than that, hope you guys come back next week. I'll put out my Jujutsu Kaisen video if you guys want to check that out. Fairy Tail this week. If you haven't yet, check me out on Twitter. The link's in the description. And you can come check out on some Discords. I'm still getting my Discord set up. I need to get it ready so I can invite you guys in there. Other than that, though, you can come to this dude SG Sammy's one. Come hang out there. I pop in there a little bit. Until then, hope you guys have a good week. And until the next chapters, hope we get some good ones this week as well. See you guys later.